The water wars continue in the city of Detroit, Michigan, as residents looking to keep their water running suffered a heavy setback. U.S. bankruptcy judge Stephen Rhodes, who is holding hearings on Detroit's historic bankruptcy plan, ruled that the city may continue shutting off water service to customers who are behind on their bills. Residents were hoping to gain a 6-month moratorium of those shutoffs and force the city to keep the water on for thousands of residents. In his ruling, Judge Rhodes stated that suspending the disconnections would harm the city's finances and that ultimately his court doesn't have the jurisdiction over the water issue. I was joined earlier by Alice Jennings, the attorney representing the Detroit residents fighting to keep their water running. I first asked her if she found Judge Rhodes' ruling against her and her clients accurate.
Well, absolutely not. In fact, we have immediately requested the transcript, and we are filing an appeal into the district court there, the federal district court. We believe the judge's decision is wrong on constitutional grounds, as well as on the grounds of health and safety. Even as we speak, up to 300 to 400 homes are being shut off from water supply every day, and that is seniors, children, and people with disabilities.
Now,
we think it's wrong.
As you mentioned, you are working on this appeal. Under what grounds can you file this appeal? Where does this case go from here?
Well, the case goes directly into federal district court. We are filing the appeal based on constitutional grounds, both due process as well as equal protection grounds. The method used to shut off over 48,000 homes in the last 2 years, since January 2013, were extreme violations of due process as well as equal protection. What we know for sure is that thousands of homes remain without water. This presents a health crisis in our city. The issue of sanitation, the issue of hydration, the issue of children going to schools, which could then pass on contamination of various disease factors. We are now in the city where there has been enterovirus D68 has been noted, and most recently many folks know that there have been young children with respiratory distress. The very first thing that's being requested of people is to wash your hands at least 8 to 10 times a day. Children without water, seniors without water, disabled folks without water cannot do that. We're living, unfortunately, in Detroit in a very poor city. Over 70% of the children live in homes where there is an income that is 150% or below the poverty level.
And now, for many, though, from the outside, it seems like it would be just an open and shut case, you know, a case of pay your bill and get your service. So if you don't pay your cell phone bill, you can't expect to make a phone call. Can you tell us how or why this water case is any different than that?
Well, let me debunk that myth right away. First of all, people pay their bills. What we've had happen in the city of Detroit in the last 10 years, the water bills have actually tripled. Just this year, the water bills went up 8.6%. So what we had happening because of the infrastructure decay that occurred in the city of Detroit is the water bills growing and growing to the point where some people have water bills that are presently $7,000 or $8,000. We had a circumstance where the administration did not enforce water bill collection. So now, instead of a family having a bill that's 2 months behind, this is a bill that's been allowed to ride, so to speak, for a period of 4 or 5 years. So we're dealing with bills that are outside the reach of many of the even people who work. In fact, many of our clients are working folks who are just unable to pay all the bills. But it is a true myth that they are buying big screen TVs. And in fact, this is the type of stereotypical process that goes on when you are talking about the poor.
Thank you for debunking that for us and the viewers there. But however, some on the other side of this argument will still say that this isn't necessarily an issue of human rights to clean water at all. Rather, it's a debate over paying the city for the service of delivering clean water. Your response to that?
Well, my response to that is where you have a city in bankruptcy and there has been an infrastructure that has been allowed to develop, including thousands of homes that are in blight, and you have banks that have come into the city and given mortgages that were then defaulted on, and now we have homes that have water running with no residents. Those bills are then recycled and come back to the folks in the city who are paying their bills or who are trying to pay parts of their bills. But listen, the real issue here is the health and safety of the citizens of Detroit. Not just, and not to diminish it, but not just the families that have had their water shut off. What we know and what the testimony that came in from the former director of the City of Detroit's Health Department is that by not having sanitation and not having water in these homes, you are creating a potential for a huge health problem. And so to say that it's just a matter of people not wanting or not trying to pay their bills is not accurate. So what we plan to do as part of the campaign in the city, the organizations that have been involved with these families, Michigan Welfare Rights, National Action Network, and Moratorium Now, as well as the People's Water Board, we will take this to the court of public opinion. The two rapporteurs from the United Nations will be in Detroit the weekend of the October 18th. There will be 3 days when they will do a fact-finding commission. They will do a report which is turned over to the President of the United States. Unfortunately, our Governor Snyder, has not saw fit to look at this as a public health emergency, even though Wayne County has issued a statement saying that the shutoffs, hundreds a day, presents this health threat to all. And especially right now, as we enter a very powerful flu season, including the enterovirus that is having an effect on very young children.
All right, Alice, we got to leave that right there. We're out of time, unfortunately, but please do keep us posted as things change.
Absolutely.
That was Alice Jennings, partner at Edwards Jennings Law Firm, representing the residents in Detroit fighting to keep their water on.